Well, Mayor Pike, welcome back to Mayor's Monday. Last time we get to do this little get together for the 2018
Yeah,
season.
it'll be next year when we do it again.
It'll be next year by the time we do this again. It is right. So we appreciate the time as always here. And it happened. It's snowing. Things are a little slick out there as we record this today. But of course, that's just a reminder to some residents that it's time to start taking care of those sidewalks and your walkways around the property.
And, it's Wisconsin. We choose to live here. We know the consequences of living here. Spring, summer, and fall are awesome. Winter, some people like it more than others. But we have to be reminded all the time that slow down. Give yourself more time to stop. Be aware of what's going on around you, because sometimes intersections are slippery and a car might be trying to stop, but it may slide out right into the intersection in front of you. Be safe. Nothing is worth that much. If you are walking, be careful so you don't slip on ice. If you are a property owner, make sure you keep your sidewalks and walkways clear for the pedestrians that may be walking by your house, for the postman, for the person delivering those gifts. I know Santa uses the rooftop, but he's pretty good. He's got those yak tracks or something.
Yeah,
I think.
right.
But just use a little responsibility. Take things a little bit slower. Know that people have to adapt again to their driving ability in the winter. It takes some skill. And just be safe and try and keep your area safe and help your neighbors if they need it.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's not just a courtesy thing. It's actually a city ordinance. I mean, it's
It
right
is.
there in
It
black
is.
and white that you've got to take care of that walkway. So just remind people exactly again what is the code.
So it's a little bit tricky because it's you have to have your sidewalk cleared 24 hours after the snow stops falling. Well, that gets a little tricky because you may have a little bit of snow and then it stops, and then a little bit more snow and it stops, and a little bit more snow. The clock keeps resetting. But bottom line is use some common sense. If you don't have a boulevard, you get a little extra time to clear your sidewalks because the plows have to go through. And be patient with the plow drivers all over. The plow drivers are doing the same thing. They are taking care of our safety before they have to go home and do the same exact thing we do: shovel our driveway, clear our sidewalk, and get that big mound of packed snow that the plow driver put in front of their driveway too. Mm-hmm. Just be patient.
Yeah, and again, it can cost you if you don't do that.
It can. There is a fine. We obviously don't want to go that far. We want people to be responsible, but yeah, give them 24 hours or so. The ordinance says 24 hours after the snow stops falling. But be realistic. If there's 3 feet of snow on the ground, go out and shovel or blow it because people need to be able to walk safely. We don't want people walking in the streets. It's a challenging time for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. We're all in this together, so let's just put a smile on our face and plow through it until March or April.
And I'm going to do my best to make sure that the snow is gone by April this year.
Absolutely. Yes, you've got the switch right there on your desk. In
yes.
fact, I just saw it as we walked in.
I was just alluding to that 2 feet of snow we got over Trivia Weekend last year in April.
That's true.
I hope that doesn't happen again.
That as well, yes. Good reason to keep people in town, though, and spend some money.
Yeah. Well, nobody was spending money because they were all snowed in.
Yeah, right. But, speaking of spending money and keeping people in town, City Plan Commission coming up later tonight, and a couple more dining options could be coming to certain areas.
So, yeah, there's been a vacant spot on North Division Street for quite a while, and it was home to a fast food place and a restaurant before. They've long since torn those down, and they've been weed grown and just really a blight. We have tried to market it for the better part of 9 months. The owners have tried to market it. They've hired companies. They tell me they talked to almost several hundred people who may have had an opportunity to build there. And what we've got is some more food options. Some are pretty excited about it. One of them is a Taco John's, which we don't have currently in Stevens Point anymore. So there's a lot of people excited about that, and a Burger King on the north side, which ironically is very close to the location of the old Burger King that was torn down years ago. So those are the big items on for the Plan Commission. Obviously, we'd like to see something grand there, but it's a small, awkward lot, high visibility, but there's not a lot of options there. Nobody has the vision or the will, I suppose, to put something else there. So we're considering this. We had introduced that a couple of probably 2 months ago at the Plan Commission and took some feedback. Those developers are going to take that into consideration, and they're going to present their plan tonight at the Plan Commission meeting.
And obviously, being that location right there, Division Street, kind of on the
Mm-hmm.
border between the college and the community, so to speak. Isn't that the running joke that Division Street divides the two halves of Stevens?
You know,
But-
that is an ironic name. We don't want it to be a division,
Right.
But it has kind of sort of become that between the university and the regular full year-round residents. But this is a good location,
Yeah.
especially for something of that nature. We have approved a new housing complex on the former Kmart site. That's set to break ground in spring. It's near the campus. It's near some residential areas, near both high schools. So I think it's a good location, and we'll finally be able to get some decent tax revenue generated from those sites.
Yeah, anytime you see a plot like that that's just been sitting there, it's not doing this city any
Right.
good. You're not making any money on it. Now all of a sudden you can finally, put that land back on the tax rolls, so to speak. as
Well,
always.
it's on the tax rolls, but we're not collecting what we should. It's a vacant lot being taxed right now, as opposed to a thriving business.
And of course the college kids, they all love Taco Bell, Taco John's, at certain times of the night after certain activities. Too.
You
So
don't get to
it's-
be my size and not be a fan of food either. So I enjoy my food.
Yeah, it's a great addition. As I like to joke as well, the part of the requirements of anywhere I may make my home is the presence of a Taco John's as well. So everybody loves those.
Well,
little
and
ways.
you brought up a good point. I'm getting some significant taxes out of it. Yes, we could get more if we had something else there, but we don't. So the taxes are what pays for our budget. And just a couple of weeks ago, we approved the city budget, our capital budget, and our operating budget for all of 2019. A slight increase, like 9 cents per thousand. But I remind people that everybody wants great roads and great services, but they also cost money. And the cost of things goes up every single year. But by increasing that tax base, having that new construction, we're doing well. So we're sharing that burden among more people, keeping the taxes as low as we possibly can. I can tell you on average, we're probably had been seeing about $25 million in net new construction. The past couple of years have been really good. Last year, we hit nearly $120 million. And we're pushing the $50 to $60 million range this year. We'll see at year end when it closes out. So that net new construction is allowing us to bring back some of those services at very, very small increases to our general property taxes.
Yeah, everybody loves to hear that. It's always good to be part of a thriving community like that, and as you said, bring some of these services back that you've maybe had to kind of dial back in the last few years.
Well, and over the years, simple things like sand barrels, residential sand barrels on street corners had been cut back. We're finally able to start putting those back into play now because we're getting more money to try and get those services reestablished. The layoffs that have been occurring over the past several years, and things just are getting put on the back burners because we don't have staff to do it. We're increasing staffing. We're getting back to where we should be, so we can provide the best services possible for the residents of Stevens Point.
Absolutely, and that's what it's all about. And it's about the people of this community and making sure it's a great community. And it's always kind of good to reflect on that a little bit around the holiday season as
Yeah.
well. Again, we said this is the last time we'll talk to you here in 2018. We'll be back in 2019, God willing. So let your constituents know what the big holiday season means to you.
Well, it's one of those times of the year where everybody gets a little more emotional than they normally do. It's another time of the year where we focus more on giving. Not that we shouldn't be doing it all the time. We should. But it's a little more prominent this time of the year. And you get to be thankful for the things you have, and maybe acknowledge some of the people that have been less fortunate in life than you. So I want to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and spend time with your family and friends, because that's really what life boils down to. Special shout out to Mayor Vrewink in Wisconsin Rapids and Mayor Milky up in Wausau. Good friends. I want to wish them and their family and their cities a very happy holidays too.
All right. Well, we appreciate the sentiment. We'll be back again. Look forward to doing this more in 2019.
Great. We'll see you next year.
All right.